Today's show follows a Gander associate to another famous end-of-the-road place, only this time in the opposite direction, to the northernmost tip of the continental United States. It's a long drive from anywhere to the border town of Baudette, Minnesota, one of the many walleye capitals of the world. 20 miles further is Wheeler's Point, which on summer days is truly the end of the road going north. But not at this time of year. Here, people ditch their vehicles and pack snow machines for a 40-mile voyage across Lake of the Woods. Gander Mountain's Scott Whitted organized his group-size fishing trip this year. And although this is a new destination, it's clear these guys have been down this road before.
A lot of adventures. You know, we as kids used to be able to would take a vehicle from our parents' place and we would just go exploring on a December afternoon or July morning. We'd take off with the boat and just go hit lakes we never hit before, never fished before, just to try different things.
It's been so many years now. We all know who's gonna do what, and we just go do it. And it's been so many years that it's just natural now for us.
We wanted to not only go out and catch some fish, but we were hoping to get an upper end walleye or figure out what you got to do to get these big walleyes out here.
If you look at a map of North America, that little aberration that extends into Canada is called the Northwest Angle, and it's the northernmost point in the continental U.S., an American island trapped by Canada. And that's why Flag Island Resort is in Minnesota. And that's where Brad, Scott, and Gordon are staying. Dan Schmidt's the manager.
Fishing in general is a whole different experience in the Angle. It's just like going to the Boundary Waters. There's a surprise in every bay around every bend.
Morning. How's it going this morning?
Good.
Well, good. I brought the map over here and show you some areas that we're going to go fishing this morning.
During winter, Flag Island Resort caters to mobile ice fishermen. They offer guides, snowmobiles, even portable shelters for rent. Our guys are self-sufficient with their own sleds and fish traps, but they're not stupid. Dave will accompany them on their first morning.
One good rule of thumb up here is wherever there's a real narrows in between islands,
Stay away.
You don't want to go in between them. Because narrow areas got a lot of current in them, and a lot of times if there's current in them, there's bad ice.
Anybody coming here, summer or winter, if you're new to the area, we will acclimate you with the area first. We'll send someone out with you. We'll sit down and go over the spot in the area that you're going to go to on a map. We provide GPSs with the lake map chips in them and stuff.
When they find a promising reef, the goal is to get lines in the water fast. The lead man drills holes, number 2 checks depths, and number 3 cleans them out. In no time, they have half a dozen ready-to-fish holes on the top, middle, and bottom of the structure.
Ooh.
And in even less time, they're into fish.
There we go.
I've been everywhere from North Dakota to Virginia and back to Minnesota again, and we've always maintained that friendship. And even when I was living in Virginia, I still made her back in time to visit these guys and be at their weddings and in their weddings, and never gone probably more than a couple of weeks without talking to each other.
Well, we just enjoy each other. We've had success at what we do together, and sometimes there's just those friendships that hang together, and this is definitely one of them. Here's a Tulip.
Well, you're Sauger King today.
Got my groove on now.
Another little eye.
Gordon is the group's explorer and just can't sit still.
There's no doubt about it. Then we just come in and fish in his holes behind him and usually catch fish. He's that way on everything. He's in it for the hunt. He loves to hunt them. No, you're not in the same league as he is, no doubt about it.
As they gain knowledge about a reef, they hone their bait placement to the most promising zones on it.
There's a nice walleye.
You just have to be able to visualize where you're fishing. You know, try to visualize what the break looks like in your mind as you're, what the bottom's looking like as you're sitting there, and remember that where some of the key points might be. So it's very similar to fishing, trolling in the summertime with your electronics and your graph. It's just that you're on foot and you're doing it in the wintertime.
Wow. Look at him. He don't like being out in the open, does he?
Need some help? You want me to reel him up so you can grab him?
Pike.
Pike?
Pike?
No, nice eye.
Is it?
Oh yeah. Stop. You got him? Nice fish, Bradley. Oh, there's a good one.
That's a better one.
That's what we're talking about right there.
While the small eaters are fun to catch, fish like this is what Lake of the Woods is known for, and more in line with expectations.
One of that.
It's a good fish.
And when the guys think they've exhausted a reef, like migrating caribou, they move on to greener pastures.
There's a time there where you can kind of tell it's time to go. You live with it. We've done it both ways, and we've had success where we left, and we were glad we left, and we've done it where we shouldn't have left. So it's just a decision you make.
In mobile ice fishing, efficiency is important. The more steps in the process, the less likely one is to move. These guys are willing to sacrifice creature comforts like chairs and shelters for mobility. If they really dial in on a hot spot, they'll set up a more permanent camp.
Until we start popping some fish, we won't set up camp.
The bump or chimney, as they call it, on the top of Minnesota was the result of very poor geography and politics. Surveyors looking for a natural border decided to follow the Rainy River to the southeast corner of Lake of the Woods. From there, they drew a line to the northwest corner of the lake, and from there, a line straight west to the Mississippi River. Oops, except the Mississippi ends 140 miles south of Lake of the Woods. Ben Franklin and the Americans didn't want the border so far south, so they compromised, came down to the 49th parallel, and followed that all the way to the Pacific. Today, the Northwest Angle is a loosely defined community consisting mostly of resorts and summer cabins scattered throughout the islands. There is a school, church, and fire department, but that's about it for services.
All volunteer fire department, all volunteer rescue on the water or on ice. But we have a community that cares. Everybody here is dependent on each other.
Day 2, and the anglers change their strategy.
Always a reason why I don't catch fish, and usually it's not my fault.
You gotta be running out of reasons by now.
We're hoping to get into some bigger fish today. Try to go to a larger portion of the lake. Try to find the spot on the spot and hopefully hook into that fish that will make the trip.
The further south you go on Lake of the Woods, the more open it becomes. Reefs out here are not associated with shoreline structure, so pinpointing them is more of a challenge. These reefs are less pronounced than those around the islands to the north. Most of them only rise a few feet off the basin. Today, they're not holding many fish either.
I'm in a 25. There are spots that we could go to, and you could probably catch 40, 50 walleyes or saugers in a day if you want to catch a lot of those 14 to 17 inch fish.
How do you come up to me like that and not bite?
We're looking for, our trip will be made by one big fish, one fish over 25 inches to, of course, ultimately like get like a 30 or 31 incher, but
The hunt is a big part of it. We like to try new spots and search out not only other fish, but we kind of looking for some larger fish.
We moved on to spot number 2, and as you can look all the way around, there's nothing but wide open little traverse bay around us. It's a small, really small hump that comes up to about 22 feet of water and then drops off on all sides of 34, 35 feet.
Oh, that's a nice perch. Look at that.
Wow.
There's a jumbo perch. Nothing wrong with that.
Gordon's going
nice
back.
Nice looking perch there. Oh, I thought we had another bite.
You always got to be prepared. Don't fall asleep like I just did. You know, this is such a huge body of water that the fish are biting somewhere. You just have to be willing to go and catch and be willing to just find them. And it's just a matter of time usually. And sometimes it takes more than a day to do that. It takes 1, 2, 3 days to do that. That's why when you come up here, you should spend at least 2 days so you can start moving around.
Look at that perch. Now that's a J perch. Oh, wow. That's a J perch. That is we got nice walleye. We got a like that. Nice walleye.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Nice eye, Gordy. Nice eye, Gordy. Atta boy. Good fish, Gordy. Nice little walleye. Nice walleye. Nice walleye. Nice Lake of the Woods walleye there. Caught a lot of fish. Now about 2.5 feet away, that should be perfect.
It's good action, but still not producing the trophy walleye they want.
Nothing's sacred anymore. Catch a few fish, here they come.
In a move that will come back to haunt them, our restless nomads pack up and leave for another spot. With their permission, Dan Schmidt brought another group of clients to the fish-producing reef.
Couldn't ask for a better afternoon right now, weather-wise. Look how blue the sky is in my world. It's really blue. How's that old saying? Never leave fish to find fish?
And when the fish don't bite, they return to the reef they vacated earlier, only to find Dan and his clients celebrating 11.5 pounds of bad decision.
This is your first isogen trip, That's a beautiful fish.
A legit 30-inch walleye pulled right out of Brad's hot hole.
I suppose 13, huh? I'm gonna guess 10, 11. 11-3.
My gut feeling was I was mad and humiliated. But I think that's the way that their excitement was unbelievable. So, I mean, our excitement would have been that way too, but their excitement was unbelievable, and it was good to see.
Typical. That's just a typical trip for us. It couldn't have been more classic, couldn't have been more perfect. That just, for the three of us when we get together, that epitomized everything that we do for the last 20 years. That's a typical ending to a trip for us.
Oh, yeah, you stop. Oh, there he goes. Yeah, thank you very much.
It was just a great time to see someone living that, you know, it's a fish he's never going to forget, and we won't forget it either. It made topped off our trip, I guess.
Second guessing is for those who never make decisions. A little gypsy spirit and a lot of hard work is what brought Brad, Scott, and Gordy to that reef in the first place.